5. I am warm. I was just thinking, you know what I really want to do? I want to put a shirt on and stand for 2 hours in a very warm, small room. And luckily, it was Wednesday, and I didn't even have to think about it. Queco, Moose, Harand, Betty, Connor, hello, 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 welcome, welcome one, welcome all to today's episode of Fuck It's Hot. Peru, hello. Kazloose, hello. Julian. I got a fan. So at least I can circulate the warm air around. Hello. Matthias. Not yet, but I suspect by the end of this, melting would have happened. Rat Sitch. It was a shrew, and I've not found it yet. No. Yeah, it's been pretty. It's pretty warm. Luckily, I didn't have to travel for work today, so that's good. Because it is warm in London. Right. I'm going to attempt to do some C++ today. I'm going to attempt to do some physics today. I'm going to attempt to wrangle all the loose ends we've got and try and coalesce into something meaningful. It's a useful skill, I'm sure. Everyone needs a hobby, my friend. Right. I'll press this button, press some other buttons. Right, let's have a look at where we're at, because I think... Hello. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you finally caught it. I think there's an issue with the scaling, which we probably should fix. There's also an issue with the serialization, which I'm tempted to not fix, because I really think we need to kind of get on to building out the level. So let's see where else. So, oh yeah, I got all this. I can't delete the rigid bodies. Do I need to delete the rigid bodies? Probably do in case I make a mistake. So I think the issue is that I select this and then I can move these and that's fine. And I can select like the rigid body and I can move the, as soon as I move them, it removes the transform. But everything else, so it removes the scale, but everything else seems to stay the same. So if I scale this back and then I move this, it's fine. But as soon as I select this and try and do anything with it, it loses that scale. I'm trying, what's the, so if I do that and select it again, so it's not, does it not reset the scale on new transform? Yeah, it must do something like that, because what I've just observed there is it doesn't matter if I change the, let's add a new one, why not? It doesn't matter if I change the pet. So this, oh, interesting. Yeah, so it's any transform is instantly reset when we update the local transform again, and it's only the local transform that's changing, question mark. So let's have a look at the code. Let's see if we can trace this through. If we go to debug renderer, my least favorite file, this sets the local transform. So here it's losing the scale. Why is it losing the scale? I assume the scale is still prevalent here. Because it... Rodent, thank you very much. Thanks for the kind words. don't know, because like we have to store the scale separately because of the weird way it works, right? Because we have to set the scale separately, so we always set it off the original shape. So we basically say, given the new total combined transformation, right, if that doesn't equal the scale that we set last time, then the scale has changed, and then we update it. But this always gets updated, so I don't understand why. Ben, hello? See what I mean? Like it feels pretty cromulent to me. Because we have to that's it. We have to reconstruct a new shape based on the scale. I wonder if it's not to do with how we deserialize the shape out, is it? Does this happen on one that we've... Here's a thought. I don't know. This is going to be a little bit annoying, I think. And we're going to spend a little bit of time to try and reason about this. So it's going to be lots of staring at the code, I think. Right, so if I add a new rigid body, does this have the same issue, right? So if I select rigid body 2 and I move him over here, scale it. Okay, so it does happen regardless. Okay, fine. So it's nothing to do with deserialization. It's not so much that it's not being saved. It's the fact that it's changing the local transform undoes the scale. But I can't think why. So when we update this, we calculate the world transform, which is always the local and the parent combined. And then we say, has that resulted in a scale change? Because we can pull out the scale component of that. Because the scale is like absolute, I guess. So hang on, let's I guess the easiest thing to do is to probably think about this through let's think about this from in terms of what we've observed, right? So we've observed that when I click it and select it, I can do Gizmo things, right? And then this is fine. Okay. Yeah. So this works, okay. So when we have a scale transformation, then this comes through, this applies all the way through, set local transform goes down, goes through this sets it fine. However, on the next update, where we have just updated if we have just updated the translation, okay, so everything is fine, we've scaled it, it's sat there rendering fine, and the correct scaled shape has been applied, okay, when we just say, when this transform is just a translate, okay, it'll go through here, it'll have a scale of, I guess like it should have the same scale information, right? Do you know what I mean? Because it's pulled out of this. Oh, does get world transform not include the scale? Because the scale is part of the shape. No, that can't be right, because we render the transform, don't we? But we render the transform, so we see the scaled shape, right? see what I mean? Like, I think I'm missing something fundamental here, because on the second time through, when this is just a translate, I might have to set a breakpoint on this and hope that we can get that. So let's try that. Can I set a breakpoint after it's running? Is it clever enough to do that? Scroll down a little. Too late, mate. It's gone. Whatever great idea you had is gone. Okay. Okay, so I got. Hang on. Let me. What am I doing? This one. Okay, so we're here. Oh, hang on. I've lost a key press somewhere. Now I'm just like. I've swallowed an event somewhere. Well, this is going to make doing anything incredibly difficult. Right, let's quit out that. Try again. Okay, it did not like that. It did not like that. Okay, sorry, you wanted me... You thought you had an idea in the rigid body? Indeed, which pretend it didn't happen. So the new transform must have... I think we just have to... It's pretty easy just to observe this as we're going along, right? So let me do log debug UFPS. I can't remember if I can just log transform. Oh, sorry. Apologies. I've just put a log statement in so we can see it as it's running. Or at least I can see it as it's running. The font size is probably too small for you guys, but c'est la vie. God, it's hot. Yeah, it's hot. Right, okay, let's try that again. Bring this up. Nope, bring this up. Right, okay. I've got the login. So now when I select this and I select, I don't know, this rigid body, this rigid body here, and then I move it. Interesting. I don't know if you can see this, but the scale is now 1. Or is it always 1? It must... The scale was always 1. Interesting. So the issue is, at this point, we've lost... By the time we call set local transform, we have lost the scale. I think the issue is this here doesn't include the scale. And in fact, we can observe that by doing this. I don't know if it's stale. It might just be that we're not propagating it. Is it the code where we remove the parent transform? See, that's the other thing, is something transformation homogeneous, heterogeneous, whatever it is, matrix. Are we losing that? Okay, let me select this and select this. Okay, so this is now... Yeah, okay, we've lost the scale. I can see here the scale is always 1, despite the other components. So I think the issue fundamentally is that this doesn't include... So can we do... Because, right? Body interface has no get scale. We would need to do... We need to multiply this by the... Or just set the scale in it? Is that something we can do? Is it easier just to set the scale into it rather than multiplying it in? So can we do auto mat equals to native that? And then can we do mat Yeah. 0 is column major, so it's going to be 0, 1, 2, 3. Where does the scale sit in a column major matrix? I should probably figure this out by looking at transform, right? Because then I pull this out. Scale is 0, 1, 2, 3. It's the diagonal components. Does that affect rotation, or can I just set it straight after? Because isn't some of the rotation components in the top left quadrant? Yeah. So do I just need to multiply it? Do I just do? Yeah. Okay. Fine. So in fact, I can just do set. I can multiply. Yeah. Oh. Multiplied by matrix for what would I call it? Like applied scale. Matrix for scale. What? Hang on. Something like that. Can I just multiply in the scale? Is that gonna work? Or is it because there's an order you have to apply them? Is scale like the middle one? Is this gonna see what happens? Just see what happens. I'm curious how it knows how to render them. Oh, because the rendering comes from Jolt, because the Jolt tells you what triangles, what lines to draw. Yes, so Jolt has already applied this. Jolt has already applied this for you when it comes to rendering it. Those look. Are those now larger, or am I going mad? I mean, that certainly seems cromulent. So if I add a new one, bring him, whoop, steady. Bring him out here. Scale him, select him, move him, select that. Okay, I think we're onto a winner here. I think we're onto a winner. That was fun. I was assuming it was going to be bugging my code, not. It is, but bugging my maths rather than bugging just how I yielded out the values. I don't think there's much merit in reading it front to back, because I think you'll get incredibly disillusioned very quickly. I would suggest you would be better off reading the standard in picking bits that are interesting and to get a deeper understanding of those. And I think just reading it cover to cover is going to be incredibly dry. It's not a book, right? It's a reference document. So you find the bits that you want to reference and read through those. That'd be my advice. Okay, fine. So let's do. Oh no, let's not commit everything. So I've got some stuff in here I don't want to commit yet. Okay. Ugh, what am I doing? What is going on? Right. Uncommit that. Okay, fine. Rigid body, not that. No, so it's literally just that. So okay, so fix scaling rigid bodies. Okay. Good commit. Good commit. Graph theory is always fun. Right. I think I'm going to quickly, super quick side quest, add the ability to remove rigid bodies, so I can remove what I've already added and then save the scene back and start from afresh. So in debug renderer, where we had like add, so add rigid body, add rigid body. Okay, so now I want to do if how am I going to do this? Probably just a button next to this, right? Then render im GUI same line. Oh, the scope soup is back. And do remove rigid body if button. I'm gonna need to do selected equals stood, is it mono state? And then do rigid physics system. Sorry, even my hands are like clammy from the heat. Create rigid bodies, remove rigid body. Also gonna take, so this is gonna take a, hang on a minute, I think I can do this in one go. How much of the standard do you think anyone's actually used? Like, well, you've used any C++, you've used the standard, right? I don't really understand. Do you mean like what percentage of all available features have been used? Because quite a lot. Like, I've worked on projects which use like most of it, like all the const extra stuff, ranges, concepts, coroutines. So I don't know. Like, it's hard to say really. Probably not a lot of file system stuff. Not all the containers. 50% more, maybe, but then you'd have another project which has used a different subset of 50%, another project that's used another subset of 50%, so probably use most of them. Auto pointer's been removed, right? Right, physics system. Create rigid body. Let's see if we can. I'll remove this. I think it was removed around about 11 because maybe it was deprecated. They normally deprecate it, then remove it. So I wonder if it was removed in 14. But it would have been deprecated in 11 because then we had R value references and move semantics. So then that's when we got to the ability to have properly defined unique pointer. Oh, interesting. Okay, took them till 17 to remove it. Fine. I guess there's probably a lot of people using it still. But man, yeah, 6 years. Okay, what am I doing? Rigid bodies dot remove handle. I think that's what I need to do. And then I can do back to this, and then we can do service physics system dot remove rigid body This will change all the numbers, but I don't think I care. You know what I mean? Selected. Is that right? Oh, interesting. No. It's not going to work for me, is it? It's not the selected. It's... Oh, oh no, it's handle. I've got access to the handle already, haven't I? Yeah, thank you. Got there in the end. Stub monostate is one of the types that I put in the variant that holds the various things you can click on, and it represents nothing clicked. I thought. At least I thought that was the case. Maybe I'm wrong. Where else do I use it? Oh, I've got it. Oh, it's a type. I thought it was like a... Okay, fine. See, look, all these variants here take all the things that I can click on. And if I want to represent like an empty state, then I can use that. Okay. Yeah, I could have had an optional variant, right? And just reset the variant to hold nothing. I don't know if it's the standard. Like, it is within the standard because monostate is a pre-built in type, so I guess it's kind of expected to use that. But there's multiple ways you could do everything, right? Like I said, I could have just as easily had an optional variant and reset the optional, like disengaged it. Right. Let's remove that. Crash. Good. Love it. Why did that crash? Let's run that under a debugger. I think I might have some breakpoints set, so bear with while I figure this out. Okay, nope. Right, so... click this, delete this, crash, press this, do this. Assert failed. You gonna tell me where? You gonna tell me where? Or are you just gonna say... weird that I'm using asserts when I thought I'd be using contracts. It's this one here, but obviously I can't see it. Oh, we couldn't use contracts in sparset because it iced the compiler, didn't it? I'm still using this somewhere. Look, post render set transform. I think what's going on is it's either because I've removed it whilst iterating through it, which is generally a bad thing. Or I'm later, because this handle doesn't exist anywhere. And hang on, let's do auto to delete equals rigid body handle. I think I have I think there's like a null handle there. Does that have like a null handle? It is invalid. Okay. Can I check if is valid? Have I got any way of... I wonder if I do something like explicit... Ooh. operator, isn't it just like const? That explicit operator. I can't remember the runes for doing the. Yeah, I'll just look it up in third optional. I want operator bool. Operator bool. Yeah, okay, fine. Sorry. So it's operator bool const. There we go. Get there in the end. Return. Blah, 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 blah. This equals doesn't equal handle. It's not the most probably performant, but to be honest, actually that could be. I think a lot of these could actually be const expra. Anyway. Oh, they are. Okay, fine. I think that's right. Nope, I've deleted it. Return this doesn't equal handle. Because invalid is just a number, right? That goes into the constructor, then gets. Why does that even work? Where's that calling into? It's templated. Have I just never called this default one? Do you understand? Do you see what I mean? Like, whose constructor is this calling? Yeah, I must have never called it. Interesting. So what would my... I guess invalid. And then... So that would give me an invalid handle. And then I can do to delete equals handle. And then I can be like, if to delete, then service physics system dot move rigid body to delete. Something like that. Can't really make the font much bigger, I'm afraid, otherwise I just will not be able to fit it on the screen and see it. Declared private here. Interesting. Of course, I can't. Interesting. The whole point of that is... So what do I get? Oh, I just get given the number, don't I? Oh, hang on. This is very deliberately an internal type, which is why it's probably never been called, because I just return... Oh, no, I do return the class, but there's not a lot I can call on it. I think this should be public, right? I should always be able to construct an invalid handle, but I never want to be able to construct a valid handle. So I think public, private, and then I want this to be public. I don't think I even want the operator equals, but I don't want people to be able to infer anything about the context of that handle. All I want to be able to do is say anyone can create an invalid handle and then check if the handle they've been given is valid or not. Right? Like, am I going mad? Does that sound reasonable? Okay, right. This may still crash. I may not fix. I fixed an issue, but it's an issue that I've only discovered because I crashed before. Still crashes. Interesting. I feel like I'm gonna have to run this build source. Alright, I'm just gonna run the game. You won't be able to see it because it doesn't automatically switch. I need to fix I have a script now which launches the game, which automatically tells OBS to switch the scene, but it means it's kind of swallowed up all the standard out. I suppose it does go to a file. Anyway, sorry, let me just, I know you can't see this, let me just crash it and see if we get any output. No, great. Oh, here you go. I wish you told me where. In with T equals rigid body. Okay. Oh, hang on. That's something that is an problem I've seen, because if we delete it, I then need to select. Oh no, because it will never be selected, because the option to delete is only if you've selected the root entity. So there's definitely a lifetime issue. So where else do we do things with rigid bodies with optionals? Where else do we have rigid body? But here it's protected, right? Because we check here that the option is engaged. Add rigid body. Enumerate rigid bodies, that's fine. Is it not in here? We're gonna have to run this through the debugger again and hope for something illuminating. If it was all contract asserts, if it was all preconditions, then I'd get a stack trace. But you know, soon. Hopefully they'll rewrite the standard library to use contracts. The issue now is it crashes when I delete an entity. Oh, interesting. In entity set transform, post render. So where am I calling from? In debug renderer, where do I call set transform? That's, yes, I know exactly what this is. We changed set transform to update the transformation of all the children, but this may have gone now. So what we first need to do is yes, okay, fine. Rigid bodies equals rigid bodies. Okay, yeah, okay. I'm getting a thought. Let's go back to rigid body. No, let's go back to sparse set, and then now we want to check. Actually, no, I think we can do this with what we've already got. I don't know how performant it is, but I'm happy to kind of just get something going first. Rigid bodies equals rigid bodies stood views filter const e, and then bang bang service physics system dot e, right? Stood ranges to stood vector. Well, I want to. If it's no longer valid, I should just remove it from the collection, right? Because I don't want this to happen again. So what this does is it takes all my rigid bodies, it filters them, and basically says if, or for each one, if when I try to retrieve it from the physics system, if it return, this is just a little shortcut to basically say, does the option was returned have a value? Then remove those and rebuild the vector. So I think it just means every time you do a transform, we've got to do some extra, we've got to iterate over every single rigid body and check them. I don't know whether it's better to just skip over them and then at a later date periodically check them. But yes, it will allocate a new vector. I don't know if it's clever enough. No, it will allocate a new one. But you have to remember that this will result in a PR value. So it will get move assigned into here. If that helps you. Okay, let's see if that works. Okay, calm down, compiler, calm down. We'll get through this together. I'm not running inside Docker, I'm building inside Docker. Error, expected that. Oh, is it just literally a syntax error? Oh, hang on. Probably want to return that. Auto E's fine. Unless there's a syntax error around there. Oh, yes, sorry. Yes, you're right. Auto E. Good spots. Thank you. Okay. Got ronges, rigid bodies, piped stood views, filter. That will take lambda, which returns that as a boolean. Struggling to see where my mistake is here. I know. Yeah, oh, errors. I saw error in member function. It's too hot. It's too hot for these errors. No match for operator pipe. Operand of type vector sparse set rigid body handle. Like, pretty sure. It's open source, mate. You can fork it and do whatever you want with it. I'm not accepting any contributions back, but you can do whatever you want with it. It's all under the BS Boost software license, right? So free boots. Yes, C++ do be like that. The only thing you won't get is the assets. So, because I have a license for those that does not permit me to redistribute them. I'm kind of surprised that I thought GCC would do. Oh, I'll tell you what it is. I bet it's because Docker has a weird. It's not a true terminal emulator or whatever it is. Hang on. Oh, it's probably whatever I'm doing in here that gives. Oh no, make build. I think I just need docker run -t. Okay, no, I thought that would give me color output. Never mind. Yeah. It's fine. We'll just do it the old school way. Right. Let's go to the tippity. Oh, no, I got color. I fixed it. Got color output now. That does actually help a little bit, I must admit, so I can kind of see where each error starts. So thank you. Great suggestion. A for loop would never do you like this. Oh, yeah, I know, but then you've written a for loop, so you know there is no gain without some pain. An instantiation of set transfer required from is invocable. Is it not like filter view range pred? Is it not like in my lambda? Here you go, what's this? Required from here. Operand types are physics system and sparse set handle. No square brackets operate on physics system, is it? Yeah, this is Python like 4. I've got an early beta. Nailed it. Like, what annoys me greatly about C++, and it does annoy me greatly, is the error there was there is no square bracket operator on this class. Do you know what I mean? But because what I think is happening is it's making an ill-formed lambda, which means because it's an ill-formed lambda, the type that you've passed into the predicate of the view is ill-formed, and then it's saying the whole pipe operator is ill-formed. And it's like, I don't know how to pipe this thing to this thing that doesn't exist, and like, well, that isn't valid. I think that's what that error was. Okay, so I mean, it certainly didn't delete it, so it's deleted from my list, but it's still rendering it. What? Yes. It's not enough just to remove it from the sparse set. I actually need to tell Jolt I removed it. Right? Because Jolt still thinks that rigid bodies exist. Just because I've taken that handle and thrown it out the sparse set, I've not actually told Jolt that it doesn't exist. So now all I've done is I've just lost my way of communicating with that rigid body. Yeah. That's fine. It's fine. Well, this all should be part of the interface, right? So when we go to physics system and then we do remove, before we remove it from there, we need to do fuck knows. I want something like const auto rb equals rigid body handle, right? If not rb return. Is it an error? Is it an error? Is it an error to remove a rigid body that doesn't exist? Probably is. So this is kind of down to my philosophy. It is a harmless operation, right? To remove something that doesn't exist. But it does imply that I've made a mistake. It is probably a contract violation. So I think what I need to do is do contract assert RB, right? Which will then call my contract handler. Yes, I like that. I think that's the right choice. Yes, I think we can all agree that in debug, I should stop, right? In release, all right, undefined behavior. Fucking just get on with it. So this contract assert is a new C++26 feature that that takes a Boolean predicate and checks if it's true or not. If it's not, then it activates the contract assertion, the contract handler, the violation handler, depending on how you've configured it in the compiler. RB is just optional, and it will not. Would it? Oh, it might actually. It might just accept that because it's explicitly. It does have a bool operator. So actually, that might. You're right. I might be overcomplicating it there in the heat. I think a contract assert should work because it's not a macro. It should do the bool conversion for you. And then we can do physics system dot how does one remove? I've never had to do this in Jolt before. Also, is this wrong? The one that takes from a description, where does it actually add it into the physics system? Anyway, one problem at a time. So I got interface. The fuck is the interface? Physics system get body interface. All right, so I think I want physics system dot just create. Oh, create box does it. Well done. Get. What was it? Body interface. Get body interface dot please say there's like a remove body. Shit. RB dot. Oh, I don't get. I don't. I have to break my beautiful abstraction because I can't. I need to remove it from the simulation though. Like what you're talking about there is not releasing the memory and allowing that slot to be used later, which we get for free with the sparse set anyway, because it does go back and find the slots. I'm talking more removing it in the sense of the actual like semantics of the game, right? Like you have to if I no longer want that rigid body, it should be no longer part of the simulation, right? Sorry, my brain is overheated. I don't think no, we can't guarantee that handle is the same as, because what you have to remember, what we're looking at here is this. We pass in a body ID, and I don't think we can guarantee the handle ID is the same as the body ID, and I don't think I want to rely on that. So I think what we need to do is I need to tidy up this code. All these functions should be declared and then declared and defined at the bottom. I think we just have a native handle and just return that. So let's do auto native handle const return. Oh no, this is CPP file. Oh, what's hit? Sorry, I'm getting myself confused. I thought this was a header only file. Right, here we go. Right, so let's do auto native handle const. I'm going to keep it as auto just because I don't really like polluting it with the Jupyter body ID. I think that's a little bit gross. So I'm going to cheat a little bit there. Right, okay, now we can go to the rigid body. Is my big dome in the way, or people can see this? And just swap it over. Right. Now we can do rigid body and then do return body ID. And then we can do rb.native handle. Right. Doesn't that reduce? I think it might like it. Oh, of course, it's in the header file without making it a template. Oh, okay, fine. So, sorry, that's a really beginner mistake. That I'm just so hot. JPH body ID, rigid body. I've been writing a lot of heavily templated code for the next video, so I'm just been totally just header only. Like everything is a template or a concept. I forget sometimes other code exists. I think I put this after. I tried to keep them in order as well, so I think they should go here. Where'd it go? Oh, right. What's that doing? You can go. Right. And that was a JPH body ID. Header only cannot specify the type if it can, because it has to be able to deduce it, right? You can have an auto return type, in which case the compiler will deduce it. But if it's in a header file and you're calling it in any translation unit, the translation unit at that point has to know how to deduce it. So if you've stuck effectively the deduction guide in another CP file that it won't see till link time, it can't do it. What am I doing wrong? Body ID is incomplete. Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I thought it was just some sort of. Oh no. Oh no. It cannot possibly be incomplete because I declare it here. So what is going on? Is it? Ah, that's why. Jolt. Who wants to know my despair? Jolt has a very specific order that headers must be included, and if you don't get those wrong, the whole thing explodes. Rand, would you prefer one just returned an integer then? Because we have an integer value class for the sparset handle. Yeah, mate, you can check out my dot files, which will get you started. It's not perfect, and there's a bunch of dependencies that I don't list, so good luck finding those. Or an enum class wrapper. Yeah, I guess either way, so you restrict modification. Okay, right, click this. Delete that. Oh, okay. We can do this. We can still select this. Can still, nope. We can still move this here, there, and around. Select this. Delete this. Select this. Add a rigid body. Right. I think we're cooking. I think we've done it. I do think one quality of life change here would be debug renderer. Add rigid body. After we create it, I think selected should equal the new body. I think that's literally like a 1-line quality of life fix there. About halfway through, so that's not bad. So I think what we can probably spend the time now is commit this up and then start figuring out how we're going to block out this level with what we've got. I think that's a useful use of some time, because I need to check like the duplicate button works and stuff like that and other bits and pieces, and then we can mock out some physics for this, save it, and then we can start thinking about character controller. Okay, so I don't want that, and I don't like, okay, quality of life change. Let's just fix this as we go along. So when we delete it, I don't want to change. I don't want this. I don't want it. I want it to stay. I want the, because I thought it was the physics object itself that was selected, but it's the parent entity, and I want that to remain. Nope, no music so far. Last time for the last game, someone in the community very kindly composed something for me, which was very nice. I don't know what I'm going to do this time. If someone wants to do that, that's fine. Otherwise, I'll probably just pay for something somewhere or license something. Of course, if I receive like 10,000 tracks, there's like there's no way I could use them all, but receive. Right, so let's try this again. Click that. Delete the yes. Add rigid body. Oh, it's automatically selected. So nice. So nice. Do that. Right, what I'm gonna do now is let's say we were creating this for this. I think we're gonna quickly find out how ergonomic this is. I think I picked like a really weird one to start with because it's like this T section, right? So something like that. And then something like that. I'm going to be faffing around with these for ages, trying to get all these level, but hey ho, it is what it is. I'm going to be interesting to see whether all this effort we've put into making it editable in the UI, if I could have just spent like a couple of hours off stream just coding up some sort of Python script to auto generate them. I think what I want is a way of copying these. I want like a duplicate button. I already have a duplicate button. I want to be able to duplicate the rigid body, right? I don't know how to do that because I won't know what entity is selected. I think what the actual answer is to have a duplicate button here. Let's save this. Okay, let's see if we get this back. Because like the save is no good if it does not save. I need to comment on what we've got as well before I start charging in any of the features. Right, add this. Ugh, hit everything. Right, okay, cool. That's bad. Because to keep everything roughly on the same plane, what I should be able to do is duplicate that and then shove it across here and then just build out the rest of it. Why did you select equals body and select entity? In what instance? So yeah, I think if we duplicate that, oh, that would be nice. And then we can just, because then I could duplicate it and move this to the top and instantly have the ceiling one. Well, the ceiling one's probably just... Have I overcomplicated this? Am I ever going to have anything in this dead space? Or should this literally just be... Nope, not that. Going to really regret not having like a Control Z, because if I've moved that too much, and then I'm not going to want to save it. Yeah, okay, fine. Like, should that just be like that? We can always go back and tweak it later, but that'd be a lot easier, right? Oh man, there's gonna be so many little like gaps and stuff where I'm like, miss that. Well, it's not gonna be a particularly complicated level if I have to do this for everything. Move it half. Scale it half. This might be a Saturday evening with a few beers, sat down and just hash out some of these. Right, save that. Okay, let's comment on what we've got. Let's add the ability to duplicate them. And then let's see if we can duplicate the parent entity and get those done. Delete this and make a new one that's scale. Oh, yes, that's a good point. But anyway, let's... Right, what did I do? I query if handle is... Okay, be careful here. It is the invalid handle, not a invalid handle. A handle can be invalid in the sense that it is a handle that's been removed, but there's very specifically one construction of a handle that is the invalid handle. And then, yes, invalid state. Okay, so then rigid body. So add native handle to rigid body. Good, it's all gone. Right. Add remove rigid body. Remove invalid handles when transforming. And then this is just kind of wire it together. So nope, commit, improve debug controls for rigid bodies. I think I'm probably going to want just to duplicate it. It's going to involve leaking some implementation details out of that rigid body, because there's no way a physics system to could just make it a friend and then not worry about it. Because so friend. Maybe because like I need access to these. Is that a copy constructor? You could have a static clone method. The problem is that I don't want rigid bodies to be copyable, okay? Because weird things can happen if you accidentally pass it around and miss off a reference or something like that, and then you'll end up with a copy. But that then, the problem with copying is that it won't get added to the simulation, right? Because the physics system itself is the one that controls. The physics system is the one that effectively constructs rigid bodies, right? You should never be constructing your own rigid body. The physics system should do it for you. So the question is, like, how does one... I guess it doesn't actually matter if I leak internal implementation details too much, because... Oh, no, take that back. Because you can resolve the handle. My thought process was, well, this physics system only ever hands out handles, but you can resolve that back to a rigid body. So I do have to be a little bit careful about what I do want kind of a tidy interface. So that's what I'm thinking, right? Like duplicate handle, right? But the point I'm making is that in order to construct a new one, right, I need to pass in these 2 bits of information, right? This I've exposed. I would now have to expose this, and I'm basically leaking out all the jolt stuff from my beautiful abstraction. My git flow is like small atomic commits, so whenever I make a small self-contained change to the system, that is in and of itself a commit, or as much as possible. There is a few just like integrated changes commits. Oh, it's too hard to be thinking about design, right? How does the rigid body constructor work? Congratulations! Enjoy it. I'm glad it was useful. So is this just so it's just that, yes. Oh, wait a minute. I just need the native handle. I can get the shape out of it with the ID. All right, we're back in business. Back in business now. Warren over nothing. You guys. Warren over nothing. By the way, I don't normally name the type in the function because I think it's normally obvious, like create, and it takes a rigid body description is, I would say, clearer than create rigid body. That being said, I do anticipate the physics. Where I go against that rule is if it has the responsibility of creating multiple things. So in which case, I actually think it's then clearer. Like if all the physics system does is create rigid bodies, then that function should just be called create. However, if it creates rigid bodies and it creates joints and it creates, I don't know, colliders and it creates whatever, then they name them. So just a bit of an aside if you're wondering. I'm sure you weren't why I've named these as such. I've got a reason for most things. The reason is not necessarily very good, but I generally do have a reason for it. I mean, physics system is in and of itself a factory for rigid bodies, right? It's the only way to create them is via this. So yeah, we have factories. I just don't really name them as such. Every constructor is a factory for that one type, right? Okay, so now I'm going to want to basically take this. Transform. Okay, I think I'm going to want... Can I get the AABB? So positive about being back in business, and now I'm quickly very much not back in business. This comes down to the fact that the rigid body itself has no information about the type of shape, and I've effectively just hard-coded everything being a box for now, and the problem is, the more I make that assumption, the more work it's going to have to be when I break that. But I really don't want to fix it now. One more. Next time. Okay, so what am I doing? What I need to... Wait a minute, I can just... Oh, hang on. Oh, no, this is easy. Get that, and then just do... Return. Create... Rigid body. RB... description, right? Just done that in the wrong place. Hang on, that was gonna be a really nice example of how this is gonna work, and then I just completely threw away all the working code. And I was like, nope. Also, this should return a rigid body handle. Go back to the old physics system. Body handle. Yeah, no, I was just I wasn't paying attention. I think that's quite nice, right? That reuses all the work we did last stream for serialization, right? We can just reuse that. Handles. Correct. Taking the wind out my sails now. I thought I had a good idea, and everyone's just haranguing me about the typo. Okay. So now Go to debug renderer. And again, I don't want to modify very, very bad times, bad juju to modify collection whilst you're iterating through it. So we're going to auto to duplicate equals body handle. And then basically take this and do yank 830. And duplicate rigid body handle, and this would be to duplicate. Probably get rid of these new lines. And then we can do if to duplicate duplicate. Right, let's give this a whirl, see what happens. Oh, it's gonna have to be added to the. It's not easy. It's not that easy. I also got duplicate. Have I spelt it wrong in both places? No, just there. Okay. Oh, fuck's sake. Duplicate. I've duplicated all over that rigid body. And then I want entity. Is it like add rigid body? Look, we all make mistakes. And Twitch has just overtaken YouTube. Great numbers tonight. Like nearly 100 people in both. Hello, everyone. I hope you're all having a good time. I am not. I think AI would probably do a lot of this, right? I just don't think it's fun. That's the point of this stream. Like, the point of this stream, I hate to say it, is probably not actually to produce a game. It's the fun we have along the way. To delete, change to duplicate. If I made a mistake. Right. So if I duplicate this, crash. Yes. It's interesting that I break. I guess it doesn't actually matter because it's basically saying don't render the rest of them, but I guess that's kind of okay. Which means we could technically do the modification here, but I don't like that because if I remove the break, then it will go bang. 849 is wrong. 849. Oh, well done. Well done. I need to duplicate that. Oh, God. How warm is it in here? If I... My Zigbee thermometer, like temperature sensor, fell on the floor, but I assume it's just as warm there as it was wherever it was before. It's currently 26.5 degrees and 66% humidity in this room. So, so there's that. Oh no, it's so hot. It's 66% humidity. It's gross. What's it outside? Hang on, like it's gonna be more humid in here than it is in like my garage. It's only 48% humidity outside, so it is. What's the difference there? 48 to 60, 18% more, so 20. Is that right? Yeah. So it's like nearly. So, right, okay, let's duplicate this. There we go. And it's selected the new one, and then we should be able to be like, nope. Oh, it doesn't select the new one. Interesting. Okay, that's need to fix that. But then I can select the new one and move this up. Yeah, yeah. Now we're cooking. Okay, that is pretty sweet. And then I could probably just put boxes in this corner and this corner to counteract this if we're just going to assume nothing's going to go there. Okay, I'm going to not save that because I want the quality of life change, which is after we duplicate, right, selected should equal handle. I think it's just if we just make small improvements to the ergonomics as we use it, then it will just slowly get better. I can't really guess, like a priori, what all the features are going to have to be for an editor like this. I think it's just to kind of suck it and see. Oh, that is really nice. That feels nice. Okay, so I'm going to save that, and I'm going to select this, and then I'm going to add a new square rigid body. And I'm going to move this like sort of over here-ish. Oh, it's not going to get confusing with all these grey lines. I found another ergonomics issue. All right, can I sort of fit this into like here? I want... It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just got to be kind of like good enough. Do you know what I mean? Oh, all right. It does have a little like chamfer here, but I think we're just going to say I can't walk through that. All right. So that is in line with that, and that is in line with that. So I think if we just scale this to be sort of roughly in line like that, I think that's going to be pretty good. I think that's pretty good. Save that. Save-a-roni. And now, oh, yes. What we can do is we can go to the top view. And then select this. And then, which one was it? It's going to be the last one I added. So duplicate that. And we can just click and drag that over there. Nestle that in a little bit there. I'll go inside in a second and check it, but let's select that. Duplicate that. Move that over there. Yes. Duplicate that. We're doing it. We're editing. Yes, it is Gwismo. The Gwismoist. Right, now we just alter these so they're just a bit more aligned to our business requirements. We're aligned. Too close, too close. Could be this one. I'm looking forward to consistently falling into holes and tripping over small gaps that we've left where these are not perfectly, where we've not reached peak alignment. Right, save that. All right, so that's saved. So let's quit. Let's hope that all comes back. Right, moment of truth. When I put the debug layer on, so nice. That is really nice. I am super chuffed with that. That now allows us a great deal of flexibility. I might need to just like boost the ambient light while we're testing this because I find it's just incredibly hard to see anything. Where's the ambient light? Do I not have an ambient light anymore? Yeah, here. All right. That didn't help. I think it's because there's literally like no other lights. We could just add. Let's add a light, like a level light. Add a light. Bring this up here. And like make this like crazy intense. It's not really helped. Not gonna lie. It's because of the dynamic luminance, isn't it? It's always scaling out the light. And you just have to accept as you get close, it should dynamically scale the brightness. Could change the clear color. I don't know if that would just make everything pop out a little bit more. How do I delete this light? I don't want this light anymore. I do not want this light anymore. Where's my delete button? Okay, cool. I don't even know whether I set the clear color. It's probably got to be in the renderer, right? Probably in window. Oh my goodness. Forgot. Full screen. Nope. Sorry, quick side quest as I figure out what I'm doing in my life. Where have we set everything? Is this a constructor? Yeah. Is it clear color? I don't even know what map, like full bright means. I'd have to inject that into the shader somewhere, right? Oh, I might have to toggle off the scaled luminance. I can't see shit. Like I'm not even joking. Like I can't see a bloody thing without. Can I scale like the whoa, okay, that's better. Oh, I don't like the way the background color scales with the luminance. Oh, I hate that. Absolutely hate that. Yeah, I think we might just need to disable the luminance. Let's commit out what we've got, and I might just see if I can add that as a toggle. So what was this? This was absolutely fucking discard that. Put that in the bin. Add, duplicate, rigid, body. I don't really like. It's kind of about as largely what I wanted to achieve the stream, so we can faff around with a few other little bits for the rest of it. 10 people from YouTube have like, no, and they've gone, which is fair enough. Add ability to duplicate, rigid body. Why are C files so large? Like, what do you mean by large? My Python project's just too small. I don't know. Like, I've worked on Python projects with massive files, so I don't really think that's in any way to do with the language. I think it's more just to do with how people use it. yeah, I mean, I've worked on like massive Python projects with like loads of sprawling code and loads of different files. So really just down to how you engineer it. I don't think it's inherent. It's not an inherent sort of feature of the language. Like, it's more of a function of the complexity, and a complexity is just, it's just a function of it. Like, it's just a component of any system, right? Any system has some, all systems have some level of complexity. Python is great for like loads of stuff, like scripting stuff, glue stuff. Like, I use it all the time for just quick little scripts and sort of gluing stuff together. Like, obviously it does have, it's quite like well used within like, yeah, like machine learning and data analysis, like you say, kind of data processing place. I use it all the time for just like quick little scripts that just sort of transform data and do little things. What was I going to do? I want the ability to toggle. How's this going to work? I think we're going to have to put this in the debug renderer, right? Sorry, no, I think we're going to have to put this in the renderer, which I don't really like to bleed into too much, but I don't think we've got any choice. Can we... Oh my goodness, this is such a big class now. Look at all this. Let's do bool disable. Actually, probably part of the scene, am I right? Because then we have exposure options, so this should be like bool enabled, right? So we do scene YAML, and we do exposure options. This should be enabled false. So that should get serialized automagically. And then in renderer, where we do luminant, execute luminance histogram pass. So can we just do if scene dot exposure options dot enabled, run these two parts? I've got a horrible feeling that's not going to work for us, because I reckon SAO is kind of hard coded to pick up from that. Or maybe not SAO, but maybe that's just what happens. Yeah, but I still need to plumb it in, right? Regardless of how you toggle that, Boolean, it still needs to be plumbed in. So I'm going to get it plumbed in first, and then we can figure out how we want it. You're right, it might be that when we just change it as we enable and disable it, that might work. But like, again, oof. That's not what I wanted. Something is pulling from that data. Yeah, you're not wrong. It is brighter. So SAO won't. It'll probably be the tone mapping pass. I guess. Actually, let's stop guessing. Oh, I have AI agents say that all the time. I'm gonna stop guessing and figure this out. So, mate, you could have just done that from the start for sure. What was the... Right, so this writes to the average luminance. So it uses the average luminance program, and it's a compute shader, and it dispatches it to the luminance, the average luminance buffer. So where consumes that? Average luminance buffet. And that is here in the tone mapping. So this needs to be, I don't really... Ooh, gross. Hang on. Thoughts are occurring. Do I reset that value anywhere? There's a way of I want to set the data in it, because I think it's just got like one float in it. The problem is though, like, eventually something's going to need an input. Like, these are all carefully chained together, so just breaking one of them has implications. Like, I don't think you can just turn off tone mapping, right? Because then the chromatic aberration is going to run on the tone mapping, and then it's all basically, what do you finally blit out? I guess what we might be able to do is force a blit of just the albedo with a toggle. That might work. Okay, hang on. Okay, so in fact, rather than that, I'm going to use this toggle for now. Where is it? It's here, isn't it? So the final F. Yes. So what we can do is we can do that. Else, the final FB equals the G buffer RT dot frame buffer, but which frame buffer is it? It might just take the first one. We might just get lucky. Why would we use Bloom? I don't know, that kind of works. Can't see the bloody lines now because it's now too bright. We could have, yeah, actually, no, what we probably want is the final composite. You're right, but I wonder if we want the lighting pass. I think that's what we want. We want lighting pass rt.fb. I think do all the lighting, but then don't do any of the post-processing. In fact, we can probably stick Bloom in there as well. Yeah, no, I see what you mean now. I think this might work out all right. We could have it so you just, it's in the debug editor, it always has those options with maybe a toggle override, because maybe sometimes in the debug editor we want to see it. But yeah, okay, that is, I think that is definitely more visible, right? For me, I can definitely see that better, and it's not, and then we can still see some of the lights happening. Yeah, I think so. That is better. Okay, fine. Let's plumb this in. I assume just, yeah, my Bloom MIPS are empty. Yeah, nice. Okay. So I need to now go back to scene. That's no longer there. What I want is a top level. So let's do const extra auto. Is post processing enabled? Const. And const extra auto toggle post processing. Something like that. Yeah, think not. Wrong way around. I know. Should that we could return the new one. Oh, sounds like effort. Don't need it. Don't do it. Remove. Was not expecting to do this today, so that's fun. And I'm gonna need some sort of bouillon. I don't think we even need to serialize this. Like, who cares, right? This is just purely lives outside of the scene. It's almost part of the renderer, though, isn't it? Like, it's not technically part of the scene. I actually feel like this is part of the renderer. The scene is just all the information that you need, and the renderer decides, yeah, I've changed my mind. I actually want to make this part of the scene. So bool enable post processing, and then what am I doing? Renderer. So we'll start off with enable post processing true, because it always starts in the non-editor mode. So and then what we can do is, can I set this from, I don't know if debug renderer has the concept of when it's active. Oh, it must do. Has enabled. Who sets enabled? So this here should then set enable post processing equals enabled. I think that might be the easiest way of doing it, and then we can potentially toggle it as well. The debug system just inherits from renderer, right? So they are kind of intertwined already. Is it the inverse? I don't. Correct. I may have to cut this stream a few minutes short just because I'm going to expire. But we'll power through as much as we can. People are here. We're having fun. Oh, well, I hope you're having fun. I am not having fun. Okay, so this starts with, the only thing now is we will need a toggle, because obviously we can't now debug whether like the scaling, like we can't see the histogram of the scaling luminance. So this means like I can't actually see anything. Oh, because I've got fog on and everything. You're right. Like this is why it's so hard to see anything. But if I do that, nice. Okay, that's nice. I like that. That is pretty neat. Pretty neat. Yeah, I'm going to do that now. So where do I do FPS? Add light. It's going to be enabled. All right, so around here we do the FPS governs. My goodness, what a mess. Don't think we need that there. Ah, here you go. So basic scene info needs to have a the way I've abstracted this means it's actually kind of hard for it to save information back. That's real shitter. I don't know if it's going to work with the reference. We can but try. All and then do processing equals the neighbor. I don't know if the reflection is going to be smart enough to figure that out and keep it a reference. This just works. That's incredible. What a great use of reflection. Just slap a bool in there, get it for free. I don't know if what's it. Okay, so I have this. Oh, yeah. Yes. Now that is incredible. That was like a 2-line change, and I instantly got the radio button automatically wired in. That's some reflection there. So if I now go back, if it's in the off state and I go back, it remains off and then it comes back. Oh, that's so nice. That's so nice. We're doing it. And then we're like, oh, too bright. What's going on? What does this actually look like? Now you got the luminance here. There's a little bit bright. Cool. Okay, right, we're done with ship it. It's nice. I'm glad we still have the lighting pass. I still think that makes it just a little bit easier to look at. It's like, oh, what is that bright light going to be like? Boom. Bloom. Oh, that is true. Yes, you will need the lighting pass for adding lights. That is a very good point. Okay, let's commit this up and then right, so where do we get to? So I think this is all just basically toggle post processing, update scene. What I want to do is just see if the duplicate entity works. I don't think it will because it's kind of agnostic at the moment to the rigid bodies, but I'm kind of curious what happens. So say editing this, I really need to have a better starting position. Editing this, I select this and then I go duplicate. Yeah, I just get one without the rigid bodies. That's not the end of the world. That's probably quite an easy fix. Because basically what I want to do is have this done and then set like one of the, because I think there's slight variances here, but most of these are the same, right? So these are all the... Hello? Oh, something's gone funky with my... Okay, these are the same. Don't know why that... Oh, I like how it's there. That's useful. So again, we can wire one of these up, like 4 rigid bodies, bish bash bosh, then just delete the others and then just duplicate them along. And then like here, this is the same as, oh no, that's a corner. But then once we got that right, we could do that, set those, and then it's just a case of rotating it by 90 degrees. And bish bash bosh. We might need to think about parenting stuff at some point, because that really should be parented to the end to avoid you staring into the void and losing your mind. But there's only so much one can do. Okay, so what happens when we do super quick look? Right. Duplicate entry. There's a struct, obviously. Oh, because you might have other things selected. Oh, what if you... I'm starting to think this shouldn't have a duplicate button here. I think duplicate should be part of the inspector, which means it does the specific duplication required for the thing you have selected, but we can change that later, and by later I mean never, but I think that's better. Yeah, I think it's just, so if we duplicate the entity, we select that, then I think all we then do is do for const auto bodies in entity rigid bodies, new entity dot add rigid body service physics system, Jesus Christ, fuck's sake, system dot duplicate rigid body handle. Yeah. That's a helper. Ooh, that's a helper function. What's going on? I'm over here. I think that might have to be ifs, and then ifs. Oh, so many typos. My fingers are just so clammy and horrible. This is going to be the last thing we do. I just cannot cope. Modifying the variable within the loop and setting it after. I'm not sure I understand. I'm going to see what have I done. If we crashed. Oh, terminal. Okay, right. That was took a long while I was hoping for, but fine. Right, so let's do this. Select this. Let's go duplicate. Oh, yes. Look at that. That's got its own rigid bodies, and I can select them all individually. Oh, so crushed it. Right. There's literally no reason we can't just have a level now with physics. I might, if I get some time over the weekend, I might just block out what we've got now, or tweak it a little, tweak it a little bit, just so we have something to kind of run around. So I think if I can do that, then like next stream is character controller, right? Well, I think we need to block out the level first. So we've got something for the character controller to collide with. But yeah, once that's done, then just let's do it. We're going to take Jolt's sample one, implement that, get it working so we can run around, and then start tweaking the values to get the game feel that we want, and then it's a game. I think. Hang on. A lot of me thinking going on. Correctly duplicate entity in debug UI. Okay. 3, 4. Are we on stream 46? Okay, push that. Right. So what I'm thinking of doing for when we have the character controller is implementing a proper 2-camera system. So there's a player camera always attached to the character controller, and then there's a debug camera that uses the fly mode. And then again, like we can toggle when we go into the debug UI and we toggle the don't do post-processing, we should instantly switch to the debug camera, and that should remain wherever it is. So we can always, basically the idea is we can play, and then switch to the debug UI, have a separate camera, float that around, make changes to whatever we want, and then switch back to exactly where we were and continue playing. That's kind of the vision I've got. I'm undecided whether the physics should pause in debug menu or whether it should continue. That is something we need to kind of have a think about. There might be a separate option for that. The problem with mesh shape is that it's incredibly inefficient, right? It's got to do per triangle intersection. Like, obviously, it's got like binary space partition. It's got incredibly clever acceleration structures, but it's still doing per triangle intersection. Whereas what I want is like cubes and sphere intersection is super fast. So I think it's going to be more. It's going to be more efficient than that. What I will use the mesh shape for, though, is probably the raycasting. So when we shoot and we want to know where on the wall we hit, there's no reason we shouldn't just hand all the geometry over to Jolt and get it to calculate that for us. Yeah, there's loads of little improvements we can do, but I think I am super pleased with what we did today. I didn't think I was going to be, I thought it was going to be a little bit unfocused, so, and I think I was a little bit, so apologies if I was all over the place, but I'm actually very pleased with what we got to today. I think I was really tidied up. We fixed the scaling issue. We finished doing all the basic functionality for rigid body creation and stuff, and the duplication stuff. And then, yeah, I think we're basically ready just to mock out a level and start with the character controller. And I think it's going to be good fun. Right, that's all I've got. I'm going to expire soon. So thank you very much for spending your evening or morning, whatever time is with me. I very much appreciate it. I had a lot of fun. I hope you had fun. And I'll see you all anon. Oh, Discord. Someone banged Discord that you should come along. I'm going to have a couple of beers and hang out for a bit. Wait for that to go through. Who's going to get there first? Ooh. Sorry, YouTube, no one gets it. Thanks, Rand. Right. Indeed, join or die. Right, I'll see you all anon.